done by Washington State University says that plants and flowers, like the ones you see around me today, can help to improve your happiness and overall well-being. As college students, it's difficult to maintain a garden, but we can maintain a container garden, which is essentially a garden in a pot. The reason that they're so easy to maintain is because they're inexpensive, they can fit in even the smallest of places, and they're just a good project for a first-time gardener. As an avid gardener myself, I look forward to showing you how to maintain a beautiful and long-lasting container garden by giving you a few tips. First, we'll talk about what type of plants you should use, then we'll talk about proper potting technique, and lastly, we'll talk about how to properly maintain your container garden. Okay, so the types of plants you use will determine either the success or the failure of your garden. You're going to want to use plants that have all the same lighting and watering needs. So if you use plants that love shade, you'll want all your plants to love shade. Or if you use plants that love sun, you'll want all of your plants to love the sun. If not, then only half of them will thrive while the other half die. In addition, to make your garden more aesthetically pleasing, you'll want to use 3 types of plants. You'll want to use a thriller that's showy and has beautiful, vibrant flowers. You'll want to use a spiller that spills over the edge of the pot, like this fern. Or you'll want to use a filler that fills in any empty space that you have left in your container garden. We're using the New Guinea Impatient because it branches out. So now that you know what type of plants you need to use, you'll want to know how to properly pot your plants, because this will determine whether your garden will succeed or fail. To begin, you'll want a pot with a hole at the bottom so that the water will properly drain. In addition, you'll want to fill up your pot about halfway with potting soil. Then you can begin to pot your plants. You'll want to start by just grasping the base of your plant very gently and pulling it out of the pot. Then place it in the soil. You'll want to place the remainder of your plants in an aesthetically pleasing order. So we'll add the fern right here. And then we'll add our filler, which is the Impatient, right here. And then just make sure that your plants are supported by adding more potting soil. You can use any type of potting soil, just make sure it's a name brand. Today we're using Miracle-Gro. Okay, now that your plant is potted, you'll want to know how to properly maintain your plant. And you're going to want to start off by completely drenching the plant with water. Just make sure that the plant is completely full of water. And this is only on the first time you water it. In the future, to know how to maintain your plant, you're just going to want to check the soil. If the soil feels dry, you need to water it. If the soil is moist, you don't need to water it. In the summer, you'll need to water it more frequently because it's hot and the water evaporates. But when it's a cooler season, you can just water it every couple of days. In addition, you'll want to place the plant in a proper position that suits the plant's needs. So if it's a shade-loving plant like these are, you'll want to put it in a spot that's predominantly shady during the day, and if it's sun-loving, you'll want to put it in a spot that has a lot of sun. So now that you know how to maintain your garden, we can just go over some of the important things about having a container garden. First, remember to pick the proper plants. Remember to pot your plant properly. And just remember to maintain it and not just leave it out and let it die. So, to end, just remember that You can't make a mistake in gardening. You can only have experiments.